Hi, I'm Don.
And hi, I'm Cindy, and greetings to all freedom fighters. We are out of town, and even though it's daylight savings time, fall back, and we had an extra hour, we barely have any time this morning. But there are a lot of important subjects this week, and one is that Israel is pushing for an attack on Iran really hard.
Yeah, there's a limited time window, and for having it happen this fall, although Obama has promised, and this is behind the scenes, but has promised that it's going to happen before the end of 2012. The big thing, the big indicating thing there is that the Iraqi bases need to be scaled down and the troops from there mobilized into the neighboring country, Iran. So this is just uh, a continuation of the globalist agenda attack on one more independent banking system, namely Iran, after Libya. And of course, Syria is waiting in the wings, and there's nefarious stuff happening there too, but we won't get into that this week. Okay, next topic. We're going to rush through here.
The Greek referendum, and they want to vote, but they're not being allowed to vote.
Right. The Greek prime minister, who was really working for the globalist, was doing some posturing and saying, oh, they wanted to have the vote of the people. And this is the typical tactic that you will see happen when they want to try to look like they are getting a consensus. This is just consensus creation on a mass scale. So they made it look like they wanted to have a vote until it became obvious that the vote was going to go against them. So they said, well, we just can't do that. So it's more of the same, and it looks like the leadership of Greece is going to take Greece kicking and screaming into the greater debt slavery with the EU.
It seems so unwise. It's like the more they push on people, the more people are going to push back.
Yeah, if they're awake. And if they're not awake, they just think, oh, these people know best, and they are, we got to go along with them, and there isn't any other choice, and it's going to be too horrible if we don't. And a fair number of people still buy that, but people are waking up more and more and are realizing, especially with Iceland example, which you don't hear much about, and that's by design, because that's what the elites don't want you to know about, is that these guys can be effectively diverted, defeated, how they're the way that they're doing it in Iceland by saying, "Hey, this isn't our debt." So people are learning, and we hope that Greece will follow in Iceland's footsteps.
And it seems like the Greek people are probably more awake than Americans. Like I
Yeah,
doubt they I
yeah,
doubt they
yeah,
eat as many TV dinners and watch as much television.
yeah. They're not as brainwashed programmed.
They're real people that go out and do real things.
And they've got a history of democracy. They may not have had a republic set up like America's have had and really effectively lost, but they understand that they're not being represented by their government, and that's at least in part creating a big stir in Greece. So we'll see how
So
that goes.
wake up, America, because you're on deck for this kind of thing that's going on in Greece. You
Yeah, well, it's happening
better
with
get you.
Occupy Wall Street, so I want to say a brief thing about that. I just this morning read a very interesting report in globalresearch.ca, great website, and they had a report from a blogger who's actually there and experiencing personally the consensus building tactics that the leaderless movement is using. He talked about some of the ideas that he had in his small groups, and then how those ideas got a lot of great consensus. The idea, one particular idea that he mentioned was, hey, we ought to occupy the stolen homes that the banksters were taking. And that's where the movement should go. And everybody in his small group was saying, yeah, yeah, yeah. But when it came time for the leader of that small group to report what the discussion was, that item wasn't even mentioned. So this is the kind of Delphi tactic controlled steering that is happening at Occupy Wall Street. So it's grassroots people there because there's a tremendous need, but it's getting co-opted and diverted.
Yeah, people, you need to know that what the issues are if you get involved with something like that. Know what the issues really are, the bankers, namely. Tell people and help take a leadership position and direct people. If you're going to be
Yeah,
there anyway, you might as well do it right.
step up, and if you can't if your views aren't being made known, then blog about it, and then that'll be reported, like this guy's
Yeah,
doing.
take DVDs down there, brochures, whatever.
Guy's
Hand them
name
out.
is Fritz Tucker, I think, that wrote that article.
Yeah,
I just
okay.
wanted to find his blog, and other people should read him too.
And there's a new Libyan prime minister.
Right. The Libyan prime minister is an oil connection that really, we already know that the Libyans set up their central bank with the globalist or the Anglo-American banking system model, and so their oil is now controlled, and their new prime minister is controlled by big oil. So it's not about the oil, it's about the control mechanism, and banking is the control mechanism and oil is the means. So that's happening. And of course, Al-Qaeda flag is now flying over Libya, and American forces helped Al-Qaeda in Libya. So go figure. This is just too much. If Americans knew what their government was doing, they'd be outraged. And fortunately, some people do know and are.
Yeah, they wanna naked scan you and pat you down at the airport because you might be Al Qaeda. But
Yeah.
in
We
Libya,
know who the real terrorists are.
Right.
Yes.
Of course we do. And I think you wanted to mention something about Herman Cain and how he's drawing away.
Here's a great example of the sideshow diversion in politics. Herman Cain is brought in there to get as much support as he could, but mainly and because he's a globalist frontman for the Federal Reserve banking system, which is the primary means by which the globalists are running America now. And Herman Cain is having his own scandal. It's not handling them terribly well, but that doesn't matter really to the globalists, because the main point is for him to divert attention from Ron Paul. Ron Paul keeps growing and growing in his popularity and keeps winning straw polls, but the media doesn't want to talk about him. And with Herman Cain doing things like fighting these scandals and arranging a debate with Newt Gingrich and having to flip-flop on his 999 tax to something else, then that all just creates news agendas that can divert from the increasing popularity of Ron Paul and the constitutionalist agenda that is rapidly becoming popular in America.
Yeah, go constitutionalist movement. Don't be scammed by Herman Cain, please.
Yes.
And you said there is a new drug pipeline through Honduras.
Well, it's not really new, but there was a Sybil Edmonds Boiling Frogs blogspot.com post about exposing that the new government in Honduras, far from being more democratic and more of the people in Honduras, is actually a much stronger front for the cocaine pipeline into the United States. There are about a half of the cocaine coming into the United States comes through Honduras, and it's something along the order of 25% of the increase in that. I'm not sure if I'm getting the figures right, but this is just an example of the real reason the United States takes over countries is so that they can shut down their competition in the global drug trade and then feed that to America to further promote the dumbing down and the disintegration of American society.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, we hate it when that happens.
So yeah, don't be
Old
dumb.
story.
Be smart. Eat right. Think right. Live right. Do right. That's. I think there are more of those,
Yeah.
but we also have become aware of more of a struggle with smart meters and
There's just more
utilities
propaganda
saying
coming
they're
out.
safe.
Just more propaganda coming out. Don't let the utility companies tell you that they're safe. It's the same thing that happened with the airport scanners. They just come out with stuff that says, oh no, these are tested, these are safe. And the poor airport workers there are sitting there being bombarded by these unsafe scanners. Now they are putting in some different kinds of scanners that are being used in businesses and are more safe, but still, I won't go through them. Cindy and I, we flew this weekend, and the scanner looked different from the full body scanner that I'd seen before, but I still didn't want to go through it. And you get the pat down, takes a little bit longer, And I have to report, or I'm glad to report, that there was no groping in the the, the groin region in my bat down. So I think, if you get a good person that is trying not to belittle you or show his dominance over you, it's not a bad experience. That doesn't make it right, and we're still against the TSA and think all you got to do is arm pilots and allow people to protect themselves and done deal. So, but I got off on the TSA and all that from the idea
Yeah,
of
but
the smart meters, but it's all the same. It's all the same
well, I
thing.
actually wanted to say something about the TSA. They're very courteous at Oakland. Southwest Gates, incredibly nice. I mean, I had a very polite lady. I don't think she knew I opted out. I think she thought the metal scanners kicked me out because she said something to me about something on my clothing that might have set off the metal detector. But she was extremely nice, and the guy actually told, when I was waiting for the pat down, a guy told me, one of the TSA workers showed me this little badge. He flipped this little badge up and said, "No, you don't. You should go through because you don't get that much radiation. See, it shows right here how much radiation I've gotten." And I just said, I don't want anybody to see me. But even a best case scenario, they are going to have a full body digital picture of who you are, and they can find you anywhere.
Yeah, even if they can't see your naked outline or whatever, they'll have an image of you that will be used for future identification. The TSA thing, scanning, is for two purposes. It's slave training, and it's digital capturing of you for recognition, facial and otherwise. Yeah. So even if they are safe, which we don't believe they are, then you are still assisting a police state, so opt out. It's like the kind of thing that we're not doing yet, but we probably should be doing, of using cash when we go through the transponder and bridges and stuff like that. And why would you participate in the police state? Well, because it makes life easier, and it's kind of a hassle not to, but more and more we need to step up and stop cooperating. And if there's alternatives that are lower police state, take them.
And the point about smart meters is they lie. The fact that somebody says this is safe, this isn't a problem, walk on, there's nothing to see here. And that's not true.
That's exactly where I started, with the smart meters. And right. They're just telling you something that's not true. It's like the vaccine insert. There's a real insert and then there's a fake insert. The fake insert is what they want you to find and think it's the real insert, and that says everything is fine. Keep moving along. These are not the droids you're looking for.
Right, exactly. And people are very concerned about smart meters. We know that we don't typically have a whole lot of viewers, which is fine because we're just doing this to make record and to support other people who are doing it. But in June or July,
like the family and stuff like that.
Yeah,
people don't know who we are.
In June or July, we did a video with Heather Goss about smart meters, and it has had, I think it's had over 12,000 views now on YouTube and tons of comments. And it's amazing how many disinfo comments there are. Yeah. And I always try to nail them right away, answer them right away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's really encouraging how many people are really catching on to the smart meter scam and how horrible it is for you, and how 1984-ish it is.
Yeah, the utilities want it bad, and they can't. The New World Order wants it bad. They can shut down anything in your house. Yeah. If you once you get appliances with chips, I heard something on Alex Jones' telethon this week that they can tell what movie Moneybomb. Sorry, they can tell what movie you're watching based on how much power your television is using, how much light and dark there is in the movie.
Oh yeah, they just probably have algorithms to detect it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there's that, and our next subject is the Mueller global warming.
This professor at Berkeley, Mueller, Dr. Mueller, is a supposed converted skeptic, global warming skeptic, converted by the latest research, and it's all a scam. This Mueller guy was never really a true skeptic that really understood the deep science. I mean, I don't know why the guy is so little of a critical thinker, but the whole point is, yeah, you can have some evidence that shows that there is warming happening on the Earth. Not much within the last 10 years, and maybe within the last 10 years it's maybe started going the other way. But the whole point is it man-caused? And in Mueller's explanation of why he now believes it, he doesn't say anything about why he believes that it's man-caused. There's no evidence given to that at all. So it's totally red herring, totally bogus that this guy is converted to believe that in anthropogenic global warming, AGW, because he doesn't even give any evidence supporting that. So this is another headline story thrown up there to convince people that aren't paying attention that they're really that the scientists really are all on this bandwagon that believes in anthropogenic global warming. Not. It's a scam.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
Yeah, more of the same.
And you wanted to say something about the Department of Justice?
Yeah, there's a Freedom of Information Act. There was some supposed attempt at legislation that was being promoted by the Department of Justice in order to give them the right to lie on record about Freedom of Information Act requests. Now, what good is the Freedom of Information Act if people can answer it with a lie? I mean, it's just bogus. It's just the very fact that this is even considered is showing how Orwellian that things have gotten, how police state-ish. But fortunately, there was a great outcry against this desire to be able to lie by the Department of Justice, so the thing went down in flames, and that's good. So people are rising up, people are waking up, and there is hope for liberty.
Yeah, don't give up hope. Pray. Keep the faith, baby.
Okay, so we're keeping it short. We rammed through a lot of stuff, and that's it. Anything else?
No, I think that you pretty much covered it all, except if you haven't given to Alex's money bomb. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that still. Yeah, we did. And
he's doing the thing. He's pressing
he's the real
through,
deal.
and he's working hard at it and making progress. So, go Alex.
Okay.
Have a good week.